Okay, welcome back to Power Plant Engineering. So, last class we have completed fuel cell and thermo-ionic generator. Okay, so today we are going to cover the remaining part of direct energy conversion, that is thermoelectric generator, then MHT generator and solar energy. So these three topics in today's lecture we are going to cover. So we are going to start with thermoelectric generator. Okay. So what do you mean by thermoelectric generator means? It is also a device that will directly convert the heat energy that we are providing to the device into electricity. Okay. By using the principle of Seebeck effect. You can see the Seebeck effect principle. By using this principle, Seebeck effect, it is going to convert the heat energy into electricity without producing any intermediate mechanical energy. So this thermoelectric generator is also comes under the category of direct energy conversion technique. So before coming to the working principle of thermoelectric generator, we should have some idea regarding Seebeck effect. So what do you mean by Seebeck effect? Already in physics you might have studied this thing regarding Seebeck effect. So what do you mean by Seebeck effect is, suppose we have two dissimilar metal. Suppose this is one metal made up of suppose copper. This is other metal made up of suppose iron or aluminum, like that. Two dissimilar metals are there. So what we are going to do is, we will maintain different temperature for these two metals. Suppose this copper metal is at 500 degrees Celsius. Let's assume copper metal is at 500 degrees Celsius and this aluminum is at 800 degrees Celsius. So temperature of the metals are different. Property of those two metals are different. If two dissimilar metals are there, and then if we will connect these two metals and we will make a loop, then what happens? Due to temperature difference between these two metals, an EMF, electromotive force, will generate across the loop, and that will make the current to flow through the loop. That is nothing but Seebeck effect. So what we want? We want two types of dissimilar metal, and the second condition is the temperature of those two metals should be different. In that case, if we can combine those two metals and we can make a loop or we can make a circle like that, then EMF will generate and current will flow through across the material, and from that we can, by applying some load at the terminal, we can get the electricity. So this is the phenomenon of Seebeck effect. Based upon this Seebeck effect principle, we have constructed thermoelectric generator. Okay. So now we will see the working principle of thermoelectric generator. So I will provide you the diagram. This is the nothing but a schematic of thermoelectric generator. So here you can see two dissimilar metals. I told you this generator is based upon the principle of Seebeck effect. Okay, so for Seebeck effect we need two different metals. So this one, this hot plate, this is one metal, and this one, this cold plate, two cold plates are we have. This is one more different metal. Okay, so hot plate means it is having some different temperature. Cold plate means it is having some different temperature. So what we have done, we have taken two dissimilar metals and maintained at different temperature. This is hot plate having high temperature as compared to cold plate which is having low temperature, and these two metals we have connected by using a thermocouple. The purpose of this thermocouple is it will create a loop, and also it will measure the temperature of hot plate as well as cold plate. Clear? Now next what we are doing? We are providing some heat input to this hot plate. Some heat energy we are providing to this hot plate, because that is the meaning of direct energy conversion. Thermo means heat, electric means electricity. Okay, so from the heat, this heat energy directly we are converting to electricity. Okay, so that's why it is thermoelectric generator. So what we are doing? We are providing some heat energy to the hot plate. Clear? Now the temperature of this hot plate will gradually increase. Okay, so in this plate, whatever the electrons will be there in the hot plate, since it is a metal, it contains some free electrons. As we keep on increasing the temperature of this plate, the electron will come to the excitation state, and then those electrons will start moving from the hot plate towards the cold plate. Okay, and as I told you, due to the Seebeck effect, one EMF will generate, electromagnetic force will be generated, and that will make the current to flow like this direction. In this direction, current will flow. Here, and if at the external circuit, we will put some load here, we can get the electricity. Here, so this simple diagram, simple mechanism is there behind thermoelectric generator. What we want? We want two dissimilar metal, and we have to maintain different temperatures for those two metals, and we have to make a loop. You can see this is a closed circuit. We have to make a loop. If we can satisfy this condition, then by virtue of Seebeck effect, we can be able to produce electricity. So whatever the heat energy we are providing, that heat energy will be converted to electricity, and that is the principle of thermoelectric generator. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of this process? Lots of advantages we have. Like there will be no moving parts. Like in our steam turbine power plant or thermal power plant, we have number of moving parts. Turbine will be there, compressor will be there. Okay, so like this, many moving parts will be there. So, but here we do not require any moving parts. And if there will be no moving parts, then there will be no vibration. Okay, that is one advantage. Next one will be there will be no noise. Maintenance cost will be very less. Okay, power supply will be easier. Okay, then it can stabilize that we can be able to stabilize the temperature of the device also. We have a control on the temperature of the device. If you want to minimize the electricity, you just reduce the heat supply. If you want more electricity, you just increase the heat supply. Okay, so in this way, by controlling the heat input, we can be able to stabilize the temperature of the device also. Okay, then weight of this thermoelectric generator, whatever the battery we are using for this thermoelectric generator, the weight of that one is also very less. So these are some advantages of thermoelectric generator. Okay, hope you got it. What you have to write in the exam? First thing, what do you mean by thermoelectric generator? Second, the principle, the principle upon which this thermoelectric generator is based upon, that is Seebeck effect. You have to explain regarding Seebeck effect. Next, working principle, you have to draw the diagram, you have to explain the circuit, okay, you have to explain the mechanism, then advantages of thermoelectric generator. Like this, they will ask you in the question, write short notes on thermoelectric generator. Or they can ask, what do you mean by thermoelectric generator? Explain its working principle. So all these things I have put in the notes. Separately I will provide you the PDF of that notes. Go through there, go through this PPT, you will get clear-cut idea regarding thermoelectric generator. This is one type of direct energy conversion device. Now moving to the next energy conversion device. Next we have MHD generator. MHD generator means magneto-hydrodynamic generator. MHD, magneto-hydrodynamic generator. Okay, so this is one more type of direct energy conversion device. So what do you mean by magneto-hydrodynamic generator? This means it is a device. Okay, this will also convert the thermal energy as well as kinetic energy of the fuel directly into electricity. Okay, so magneto-hydrodynamic. This is a device which converts the kinetic energy as well as the thermal energy of the fuel directly into electricity. So how thermal energy and kinetic energy will comes into picture when I will explain you the working principle of this MHD generator, you will get to know about this. Okay, so here also you can see we are not going to produce mechanical energy. From the kinetic energy and thermal energy directly we are getting electricity. So this MHD generator will also come under direct energy conversion technique. Okay, now this MHD generator is based upon the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so in the last discussion we have done regarding thermoelectric generator. So thermoelectric generator was based upon Seebeck effect. Here this MHD generator is based upon Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, I think you know what you mean by Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. But once again I am explaining what is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so what is this? Whenever one conductor is there, conductor means that can conduct electricity. Any metals or any gas that can be ionizable gas. Okay, that is nothing but a conductor. When a conductor and a magnetic field, you will put the magnet, one magnet you have, one conductor you have. Okay, so when those two things will move related to each other, either the conductor will move inside the magnet or the magnet will move over the conductor. If some movement will be there relative to each other, then voltage will be generated across the terminal of the conductor, and from there we can be able to get the electricity or we can be able to get the current. So that is nothing but the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Once again I am repeating. Suppose you have a conductor. Suppose this is a conductor, and suppose this is the magnet. This is north, this is south pole. This is the magnet. If you will move the magnet over the conductor like this, or if you are moving the conductor inside the magnet, so that there will be a relative movement in between these two things. Okay, in that case voltage will be induced or voltage will be generated inside the conductor, and if voltage will generate, then at the terminal of the conductor current can flow, and from there we can get the electricity. That is the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, so this is the diagram. You can see this is nothing but the magnet. This is the north, this is the south pole. Okay, and suppose this is a conductor, one coil, conducting coil we have taken. This is the conductor. This can be any coil, aluminium coil or copper coil or nickel coil, any coil you can take. That should be having some conducting material, that should be a conducting material. Okay, then in this case if you will move this magnet inside this conductor, or if you can move this conductor over this magnet, so that there will be a relative movement between magnet and conductor, then voltage will be produced, voltage will be generated inside the conductor and across the terminal. Means this is one terminal, this is one more terminal. If we can join and make a closed circuit between this, then across the terminal we can get the current, and if we apply some load over here, we can generate the electricity. Okay, so that is nothing but Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So based upon this law, we have constructed magneto-hydrodynamic generator. Okay, so this is a layout of open cycle magneto-hydrodynamic generator. Okay, now you see here what happened. In the definition part I have told you, if we will go to the definition part, just quickly I will revise. What do you mean by magneto-hydrodynamic generator means? If you see the definition, so magneto-hydrodynamic generator is a device that converts the thermal energy as well as kinetic energy of the fuel directly into electricity. Okay, so here normally in the power plant we are using the thermal energy of the fuel. Inside the combustion chamber we are burning the fuel. From there whatever the heat energy or thermal energy comes out, we are using those heat energy or thermal energy. But here the definition defines we have to convert the thermal as well as kinetic energy of the fuel into electricity. So here we are going to use the thermal energy of the fuel as well as the kinetic energy of the fuel. These two things of the fuel we are going to use. Okay, now once I will explain you the working of this MHD generator. Okay, so here what happened? Well, we have a combustion chamber. Okay, because how we will get thermal energy? By burning the fuel. Okay, so in order to burn the fuel, we need a combustion chamber. Okay, so to this combustion chamber, we are providing the fuel. Okay, now second thing is for burning the fuel, we need oxygen or air. Okay, so that's why we are providing air to the combustion chamber through the compressor, because if compressed air will be there, then this air will be having significantly high pressure and temperature as compared to atmospheric air. If compressed air is there inside the combustion chamber, then perfect burning of the fuel or efficient burning of the fuel will take place. Okay, so that's why from the compressor we are providing compressed air to the combustion chamber and we are supplying the fuel. Okay, these two things clear? So now what happened? Inside the combustion chamber, the fuel will get burned. Okay, so we got thermal energy from here. One point clear? Now, whatever the gases or we will get from this combustion chamber, the gas should be conducting one. If it is non-conducting one, we cannot generate electricity. Okay, so that is the principle of Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. We should have a conductor and we should have a magnet. Okay, so whatever the gas we are getting from this combustion chamber, that gas should be conducting one. In order to do that thing, we have to provide some seed material, like some potassium or cesium, some material we have to supply to the combustion chamber. What is the property of this seed material? Those seed material will ionize the gases. Okay, what do you mean by ionization? It will break the gases into cation and anion. Okay, so this seed material, the function of this seed material is it will ionize the gas and it ensures the gas should be a conducting one. It makes the gas, it will increase the conductivity of the gas. So just simply remember the property of the purpose of the seed material is to increase the conductivity of the gas that will comes out from the combustion chamber. That's why I have written it is ionized gas. Ionized gas means it will be a conducting gas. It will be a conducting material. Okay, so from the combustion chamber we got thermal energy. Next is we need kinetic energy also. So that's why at the exit of the combustion chamber we have added a expansion nozzle. I think it is not visible. Okay, it is written expansion nozzle. Okay, so what is the property of the nozzle? It will increase the velocity of the incoming fluid. So whatever the gas generated at the combustion chamber, those gas is made to flow through the expansion nozzle. So there the velocity of this gas will increase. And what do you mean by kinetic energy? The formula of kinetic energy is half mv square. If velocity of the gas will increase, then of course the kinetic energy of the gas will increase. Okay, so we got our two things. From here we got the thermal energy of the fuel, and here we are capable to increase the kinetic energy of the fuel. Right, now the fuel will enter to the MHD generator. So here we have the magnet. Okay, here we have the magnet. So inside this magnet, this high temperature and high velocity gas will flow. Okay, and in that case, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, if inside a magnet a high temperature conducting material will move, then we can be able to produce electricity. We can be able to get the current. Okay, so that's why from the MHD generator we can be able to produce direct current. Okay, now after producing the current, the exhaust gas, whatever the exhaust gases are there, those gas will flow through the heat exchanger. Here what happened? So whatever the gas that is coming out from the MHD generator, the temperature of those gas will be higher as compared to atmospheric temperature. Now we are going to use that temperature also. Okay, so what happened? That exhaust gas will be made to flow through a heat exchanger, and in this heat exchanger we are taking atmospheric air or normal air. So what happened? This air will be cooler as compared to this exhaust gas. So heat transfer will take place from high temperature exhaust gas to low temperature air. Okay, then that air will supply to the compressor, then again this cyclic process will keep on going. Right, now after this exhaust gas, after providing heat to the air, it will be supplied to the atmosphere. We are not going to again, once again we are not going to use the exhaust gas, it will be supplied to the atmosphere. That's why this is nothing but open cycle MHD generator. Clear? So you have to remember the path. We need combustion chamber to get thermal energy. We need expansion nozzle to increase the kinetic energy or to increase the velocity of the gas. MHD generator to produce electricity. Heat exchanger to increase the temperature of the atmospheric air, and compressor to increase the pressure of the atmospheric air. Along with that, we need some seed material like potassium or cesium like that. So that it will help the gas to get ionized. So that it will be a conducting material. That is all about the working principle of MHD generator. Now coming to the advantages. Okay, so here only working, you have seen whatever the gas or whatever the fluid we have supplied to the generator, only that working fluid will circulate. And here also we do not have any moving parts like turbine or else. Okay, so in this case there will be no vibration and mechanical losses will also very less. Same as in case of thermoelectric generator. Overall, what I want to say is there will be no moving part and there will be less vibration. Second one is we can get the maximum DC power as possible. What I mean is the efficiency of this one will be exceedingly high. Full power we can get directly from the fuel. Okay. Next, the cost of this MHD generator will also less as compared to the conventional generator. And already I have mentioned this thing, efficiency will be higher as compared to other kind of direct energy conversion technique or as compared to the other kind of conventional generators. Okay, so these are some advantages of MHD generator. So we have completed two things. One is thermoelectric generator, one is MHD generator. Okay, the last direct energy conversion technique is solar energy. Okay, so this is the last direct energy conversion technique you have in your syllabus. Normally they are not going to ask much question related to this one, so very quickly we are going to cover this part. So solar energy, you know, this is nothing but a renewable source of energy. It is very clean, very cheap, very environmental friendly. So nowadays we are moving towards solar energy. Okay, so the first requirement for the solar energy is sun. Without sun we are not able to get all these things. Okay, the second most important thing is solar collector, means whatever the radiation that is coming out from the sun. Okay, so with the help of these solar collectors we can be able to trap those radiation and we can be able to convert that radiation into some other kind of energy. Okay, so here basically we have two types of solar collector. This is flat plate solar collector. Okay, I think you have acquainted with this one, and this one is a cylindrical solar collector. Both are having some domestic uses and both are having their own advantage and disadvantage. So in detail we are not going to explain regarding this. So normally briefly I will tell you. So what happens in a solar collector? In the top surface some black color paint will be there. Why? Because in heat transfer we know black body is a good absorber of heat and radiation. So whatever the radiation will fall upon this solar collector, if it is a black one, if it is a black surface, then it can absorb maximum amount of radiation. So that's why in most of the flat plate solar collector you might have observed some black color paint will be there over the collector. Clear? And normally these collectors are made up of copper or aluminium tubes like that is having a good conducting properties. Clear? Now what happened? Below this solar plate some copper tubes are there. Okay, and inside that copper tube water will flow. So whatever the solar radiation will absorb by this solar plate, that heat or that radiation will be provided to the water that is flowing through the copper tubes which is present below this plate. Now when we are providing some heat energy to the water will get heated. Okay, so we will get the heat energy from the sun. Then by using different technique we can convert that heat energy into electricity or we can convert that heat energy into mechanical work. Based upon the necessity we can use this heat energy. This is the process to absorb the heat energy from the sun. Now I will tell you how a solar thermal plant will work. Okay, you already know how a thermal power plant will work. We have a compressor, we have a combustion chamber, we have a turbine, we have a condenser like that. Now how a solar thermal plant will look like, I will show you a schematic. Okay, so you can see this part, this right hand part. This is nothing but a conventional thermal power plant. Okay, boiler will be there, turbine will be there, condenser will be there, chimney or cooling tower will be there. Clear? So this is nothing but a conventional thermal plant. Okay, now this is nothing but a solar power plant, solar cycle. Okay, so what is the advantage of this thing? So here we have solar collector. Okay, what is the purpose of this one? The solar collector will get the heat from the sun. Okay, I told you in the solar collector some copper tubes are there. Inside that tube water will flow, and that solar heat energy will be supplied to the water which is flowing through this copper tube inside the solar collector. Now the water which is flowing through this tube will get heated. The temperature of those water will get heated. Okay, then those water will supply to the evaporator. Okay, so in evaporator we will burn the fuel. Okay, and further we will increase the temperature of this water and we will get the steam. Then that steam will supply to the turbine. From this turbine we will get mechanical work output, and if we put some generator over here, from there we will get the electricity. Clear? So in this way we can be able to use the solar energy to get electricity. Okay, so this is all about the solar power plant. Coming to the advantages, lots of advantages are there. First one is the solar energy is renewable source of energy. It is freely available and plentifully available across the world. Okay, now it is very environmental friendly. There will be no greenhouse effect. It will be completely pollution free. Okay, then the next one is it is nothing but a dependable energy. Okay, we have to depend upon the sun without any new requirements of a highly technical and specialized nature for its widespread utilization. Widely we can be able to use the application of this solar energy without depending upon some other source of energy. So these are some advantages of solar energy. Okay, next one is it is a best alternative. The solar energy is the best alternative for the rapid depletion of fuels. Whatever the fossil fuels we have, okay, so rapidly and gradually that is going to end after some year. So this solar energy will be the best alternative to replace fossil fuels. Okay, so these are the advantages of solar energy. Okay, so in this manner today we have completed 3 topics, that is thermoelectric generator, next one MHD generator, and next one is solar cells or solar energy. So here like that we have completed this direct energy conversion technique. Clear? We have completed solar energy fuel cell. Today we have completed solar energy, thermoelectric generator and MHD generation, and yesterday we have completed fuel cells and thermoionic generator. Okay, so like this manner we have completed the direct energy conversion technique. So I hope you got it, and from next class we are going to start diesel